Hello and welcome to another episode of Redline Technologies unboxing series of vids. I know we've been off the radar for a while. You guys have been asking for an unboxing vid. Truth be told, we haven't really had any new hardware that we thought was worthwhile unboxing until now. So today we are going to be unboxing Asus's first TUF branded case manufactured by them. It's the GT501. So let's take a look at it today, alright? Interesting case in that as far as I know, Asus has not been manufacturing cases. I could be wrong on this, you guys can mention this in the comments, but they have not manufactured a case since the old Vento days, which is when the last time we actually saw Asus's like Alienware style cases. From then they've partnered with a lot of other manufacturers to bring ROG branded as well as TUF branded cases, but this is the first case that I am aware of that Asus have actually taken upon themselves to manufacture themselves. So I'm sure you know that Asus probably doesn't manufacture it themselves per se. I'm pretty sure it's an OEM, but it is their own design and it is part of their TUF gaming series. So it's with their entire aesthetic where they've got like, you know, RAM and motherboards and graphics cards. Now we've got a 2060 TUF branded graphics card as well, just released. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create this like budget friendly, or this is not a budget friendly case, ecosystem of black and yellow theme builds around their TUF branding, which is interesting. Considering that the move now is to go into RGB, but they've gone with the whole black and yellow theme, and we'll see how much of that is incorporated in this case. So we're going to cut away now because this is a massive case and I'm not going to be able to unbox this on video, so let's take away. So lo and behold, the case to the wonders of modern video editing. As you can see, there is a lot to take in. It's a pretty big case. We'll get to that shortly. We get a couple of extras. We get a manual, nice little manual here. We've got a dust filter, which I'm not completely sure where it goes, but it was sent in separately, so this probably goes in there somewhere. It might be an optional dust filter. So we'll get to the pricing later, but as you can see, the case itself, it's not a low-end case by any means. It is a little pricey. It's large. That is the first thing that I noticed about it. Like as soon as you open the case, it's massive, right? So I don't have the exact dimensions on me, but as you can see, from the front, it's pretty wide. I would say maybe even a foot wide, maybe more. So there's going to be a lot of space inside once you've fitted your parts, which we'll get to shortly. I don't know what to call this. It's like a matte spray finish. It's not really camo, but it's like speckles of like paint all over on the finish, and that's pretty much the finish they've gone for, which gives it, it's either a love it or hate it thing. And I guess considering it's a gaming chassis and it's aimed at, you know, gamers who want a TUF theme their build, I guess it'll appeal to them. Like I said, the logo at the front is laser etched, I think, and in matte black, or rather gloss black. So it's very minimalist. You can barely see it. It's got a pretty nice face. I'm going to have to come to the front because it's a pretty massive casing. I think we've got some vents down here along both sides, essentially for the intakes, because it's got 3 intake fans at the front, which we'll get to shortly. On the I/O, we are looking at a power button. As far as I can tell, no reset button here. We've got 2 USB 3 ports and a mic and the headphone jack, which is pretty standard. Nothing to write home about. Let's just quickly, this is aside, like I haven't even addressed like the thing that you guys are probably wondering, like what are these? These are actually carrying handles, which is pretty cool, and they're made out of essentially, what is this, fabric? Yeah, like woven fabric pretty much. So these seem like what you'd find on, say, a heavy duty backpack pretty much. So, and they're capable of carrying this case. The case isn't light by any stretch of the imagination. It's about 11.5 kilos, which is actually comparatively light for a case this size. So when you do lift it, as you can see, I'm not the strongest guy, but I can lift it pretty easily. It's 2019, so it's tempered glass pretty much all the way around here, and it's mounted in place by thumb screws, which is, yeah, we'll see how the implementation goes. We can just like unscrew it right here and see what it's like. We can get the inside of the case. I believe these are not going to come completely off, which is awesome. So they're not completely removable, and they stay on, which is a nice little touch. 4mm thick, and it's smoke tempered glass, so it's not fully clear. It's got like a dark tint to it, which is also nice. I think it's keeping with the theme. In terms of fans, like I said, you get 3 fans which are also RGB fans, which let's be honest, we all want it. I mean, even if you're not a fan of RGB, it's not like you're going to buy a gaming chassis and not want at least the option of RGB fans in there. So Asus have you covered. These are Aura Sync RGB fans. You've got a non-LED fan at the back, which I think is a 140. So it's 140 and 3 120s at the front. We've got a PSU shroud, which is also pretty much standard with a little bit of TUF branding. It's got like a little bit of a laser edge there, which is also nice considering how big this case is. Now this is, as far as I can tell, not a full tower case. It's what we would call a large mid tower. So it's kind of between what you'd consider from a regular size mid tower and a full tower. So it's got a lot of the spaciousness of a full tower, but it's got the height of, it's slightly taller than a mid tower. So it doesn't take too much of space on your desk. Not really designed for like a liquid cooled loop, one of those custom loops that a lot of the bigger cases are made for. But this would mean that, the airflow is going to be good. And there should be, as I said, it's a very wide case. So you've got plenty of space to, put in those really big beefy graphics cards, like the upcoming 2080 Ti ROG Platinum, or was it Matrix, and you've got the 2080 Ti Lightning. So if you're going to go in for like some really high-end hardware, this has got you covered as far as I can tell. You've got dust filtering at the top by the looks of it, and it's magnetic, which is nice. It's pretty straightforward though. As you can see from these latches here, there are 3 SSD mounts at the back, which we'll get to shortly. You've got the accessory kit here. I'm pretty sure the hard drives are going to be mounted inside the PSU shroud. It's the first time I'm looking at the case, so I'm not really sure, but we'll find that out shortly. But talking about the build quality, it's a lot of plastic. So you're going to be spending something in the vicinity of $150 on this case. So 25,000 bucks isn't cheap. I would have liked to see a little bit more metal, but Asus have opted for mostly plastic and cheaper metal, but that being said, I feel like the trade-off is they're giving you a bigger case. So the back of the case, we have, one thing I did notice though, there is TUF branding everywhere on this case. Like there's TUF branding on the fans, TUF branding on the handles, you've got the TUF branding on the back, on the shroud. So regardless of the components you put in here, it's going to be pretty obvious to everyone who looks at your case that it's a TUF branded machine. We've got 3 2.5-inch drive mount bays here. As far as I can tell, these are hard drive bays, I think. I could be wrong. And we have another 2 2.5-inch mounting bays over here. I mean, in terms of spacing between the side case and this, yeah, you've got a lot of space. And I like that they've got essentially these Velcro straps here, which allow you to cable manage all the way down here. Not exactly like prominent like routing like NXT has on the new cases, but good enough. And I feel like if you were an amateur, if you were a professional, if you were going to cable manage in this, you'd be able to do it pretty quickly, because one is there's a lot of space at the back, and they've got these Velcro straps, and trust me, when you're building a system, these really come in handy. So unfortunately, since this is an unboxing and a very brief overview of the chassis and not really an in-depth dive, we are not going to give you numbers on the cooling, or we're not really going to build something inside the system. What's my personal take on it? I feel like it's a good case. It's a good chassis. I think if you're going to build a high-end TUF branded system, say with a RTX 2060 TUF branded graphics card, which another funny thing about that is not a very good looking card, so I don't know if I would buy it, because the case I feel is pretty good looking, and their motherboards are good looking. TUF branded motherboards have been quite good looking for a while. It's very minimalist, but they also have that very distinct TUF look. I feel like you can build a B360 or an Z370 system in here with liquid cooling support for 8700K, 9700K. Maybe skip the TUF branded graphics card until they get better cards or better looking cards, and maybe go for one of the Strix cards for now. But at the end of the day, you have RGB sync, which means that you will be able to control your fans provided that your motherboard is an Asus motherboard. And yeah, you add some RGB RAM, then you'd have a pretty good looking system. Granted that the look is very subjective, you either love it or hate it. I personally think that if you're going to buy this case, you know exactly what kind of look you want, and I feel like the case gives that to you. So look forward to some builds from Redline Technologies with this case, and if you want to pick one of these up, this goes for 26,500 bucks. So this is Sabrin saying adios till next time.